moving on to our final session for today, which is our Goldster instructor, Sarah Ryan. Now, Sarah Ryan is an award-winning style coach who helps women to refine their personal style and increase their confidence. She's a qualified style coach, but also a mind coach and master practitioner of NLP, that's Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and uses this transformative combination of skills in behavioral science to achieve life-changing results with her clients. Sarah Ryan, if you're there, please come and join me.
I'm here. Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Great to see you.
Yeah, at the glitter.
Shine on.
Shine on, baby. Shine on.
What a great informative afternoon. I just caught the end of Ariane's talk there, and Claudia's, of course. I always learn so much. It's fantastic.
Yes, and we had a wonderful dermatologist on earlier. So a wonderful, insightful day, I think. And we've got lots of engagement and fantastic. And tell me what you're going to be sharing today, very briefly.
Well, I think everybody's got so many great tips about, what we can consume in terms of helping our skin, what we can put on our skin to help it. And we don't want to undo all that by wearing the wrong colours next to our face. So I'm going to be talking about, I want to give you some very practical tips so that after this session, you can go away and make better choices really easily with things that you already have at home. You don't have to go out and do anything special. Everything, a lot of, learning about your best colours can come from just paying attention to what's going on in your wardrobe, to various clues. I always say everything you need to know is already in your wardrobe. You just need to pay attention to the clues. Right. So you'll get some very practical tips in this session.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I look forward to watching, and I'll join you again afterwards. Enjoy, everybody.
Thanks, Lee. And it's great to see, I see my regular members in the class that I have in Goldster, and I see lots of new faces. Very welcome, everybody. As Lee says, my name is Sarah Ryan and I'm the style coach. And we are going to be talking about skin, of course, but skin is a complex thing, as you know. What I want to focus on is the skin undertone. So when we look at the skin, we can see different things. Most of what we see is the skin overtone or skin tone, you might hear it referred to. That's when we look at our skin and we say someone has fair skin, someone has light skin, someone has dark skin. Our skin can change in the sun. It can burn, it can tan, it can change throughout our life. And so relying on the skin tone alone is probably not the best way forward because it changes so much. What we really want to be focused in on is the skin undertone, which is a little trickier to see with the untrained eye. But if you know what to look for, it gets a bit easier. So I'm going to give you some tips to learn how to identify your skin tone or your skin undertone. The thing to remember here is that you can have a cool undertone or you can have a warm undertone. You might also lie somewhere in the mid zone where you might be neutral cool, neutral warm, but you will lean one way or the other, cool or warm. How do you find out what you are? Does it really make much of a difference? Oh, yes, it does. I'm going to demonstrate it later on. Hopefully we have time for that as well. So when we're thinking about our skin undertone, it can have a dramatic difference on how our skin looks. You might notice it yourself. In fact, you know yourself when you wear a color that works for you. Your skin looks healthy, glowing. You might see that you've got a nice defined jawline. You might have a nice color in the lips. Naturally, of course, we're talking about the natural features, not when we've already put on some makeup. We want to get this right from our, natural features, first of all. What we don't want to see is the skin looking dull, tired, like the face is kind of pulling out a little bit. The face can look fuller when we're not wearing the right color, just generally a little bit off. We don't want that. And a little bit of change in our colors can make all the difference. So I want to give you a few questions that you can ask yourself to start to think about, well, am I cool or am I warm? The first thing I want you to pay attention to is the jewelry that you tend to lean towards. Now, I'm not talking about the jewelry that you might have been gifted. I want you to think about when you look at jewelry on your skin, what do you think looks best? So for me, silver has always looked better on my skin. Gold just never looked right. And I never questioned it. Before I knew much about skin or skin undertone or colours, I just knew instinctively gold just didn't look quite right on me. And I realised it's because I've got cool undertones. I was much better matched to the silver on my skin because I've got cool undertones. If you think that gold works amazing on you and silver, again, not quite right, looks a little bit jarring on the skin, doesn't melt in, it's likely that you're going to have warm undertones. How does that translate to the colours that you wear? Well, colours have a few different qualities to them. One of those qualities is temperature. And that's when we say cool or warm. What makes a colour cool is having a little bit of blue in it, generally. What makes a colour warm is when we have a little bit of yellow in it. And I'll show you some examples as well. So that's the first clue. And some of you might be saying, well, you know what, Sarah, I wear both and I like both. Brilliant. You might be a person that's in that mid-range that can probably wear both pretty easily. Lucky you, you've got plenty of choice. But another clue that you might look to is to think about, well, what dark neutrals do I have in my wardrobe, or what do I tend to lean towards? What do I feel I look best in? If we're thinking about darker neutrals, we could think about black, which is on the cooler side, or you might consider like a deep chocolate brown. That would be warmer. So some of you might be thinking, gosh, you know what? I really think black works well on me. In which case, another clue, you might be on the cooler side. However, if you believe that chocolate brown works better for you as a dark neutral in your wardrobe, you could be leaning into the warmer side, in which case you continue to wear other warm colours next to your face. That's the key thing as well. We could also have the same question for our light neutrals. What are you drawn towards in your light neutrals? Does a white work for you, or even an off-white? This is in the cooler side. So again, you know, we can start building up a picture here. If you're wearing silver, if you've got black in the wardrobe, and now you've also got white, there's a strong chance there that you might have those cool undertones. However, in your light neutrals, if you think that cream works better for you, so a little bit of yellow in there, we are on the warmer side. So if you've got gold as your jewelry, maybe a chocolate brown works better for you than black, and you've got cream as your light neutral. If they all work for you, that's a good clue that you're heading in the right direction of the warmer side. So those are just some clues that you can pay attention to in order for you to start moving in the right direction. There's other things, of course, that you can do. You can do your own little mini color analysis. Okay, so to do this, what we're focusing in on are your natural features, your hair, your skin, your eyes. If you're thinking, well, Sarah, I've been coloring my hair, it's not the natural color, take it out of the equation. Maybe get a towel, a white towel, put it around your head, and then just take the hair out of the equation. You could also refer back to some photos of yourself as, before you start coloring your hair. And, you could start analyzing like that. But for now, if you do color your hair, you could get some kind of white towel or white cloth and just block out your hair, just like this is what I would do with my clients in person. I would take the hair out of the equation. Same thing with the eyebrows. Now, a little bit more difficult to cover up, of course, but if somebody tells me, Sarah, I've got colour in my eyebrows, maybe it's semi-permanent, we'll ignore those as well. So we want to tune into the natural features. And the skin, the undertone is always the place that I start with, because the skin undertone does not change throughout life. If you're cool now, you'll always be cool, and you always were cool, even if you get a tan, because that's the surface level changing. If you're warm now, you'll always be warm, and you always were warm. So it's a very reliable place to start with the undertone. Now, we also want to make sure that we've got no makeup on when we're doing this little analysis of ourselves at home. So a nice fresh face. And if you just wash your face in the morning or something, the skin might get a little bit flushed, a little bit red. Wait till it calms down. And then do the analysis from there. Apart from that, the other thing that you really want to have is good natural daylight. And I don't know about you, but I'm in Ireland here. I know most of you are across the UK as well. We get lots of cloudy days. Perfect for a colour consultation, because a cloudy day acts as a natural light diffuser. It gives us a nice soft light. We don't want direct light coming in on us. Sometimes that gives a false reading for colours when we get too harsh a light. We want a nice indirect light. Sit next to a window, get yourself a mirror, and you're set up to do your own colour analysis. The other thing I would say is, if you have something white or fairly neutral, maybe grey even would work as well, go ahead and put that on. Or you know what is even better? If you just had a towel, underneath the arms, brilliant. You don't need anything near your face. But for me, when I'm working with clients, I'll always put a drape like this on them so that we have a very neutral colour palette. And I'm going to demonstrate to you a few colours on myself. And this is where you'll say, you know what, Sarah, I don't have those kind of things in my house. I don't have drapes. And of course, most people don't if you're not a colour consultant. But you will have different colours around the house. It doesn't matter if it's a bed sheet. It doesn't matter if it's a towel or a tea towel or anything at all. Anything you can use. The point is, first of all, get yourself a nice blank canvas to start from. Now, I'm cheating a little bit today because I do have makeup on, okay? So you'll have to just kind of look beyond that. So we already talked about silver and gold being the difference. Now, I just want to demonstrate to you using silver and gold so that you see the difference in myself. So you already know the answer to this one, but I'm going to show you anyway. Hopefully now you can see I've got quite a bright light on me, but when I put a gold up next to my face, my skin just looks a little bit dull. It's not at its best. It looks a little bit what I call the floating head syndrome, disconnected from the colour. There's not this nice harmony and nice flow into the colour. It feels a little bit disconnected. By the way, if you're doing this at home, sometimes it's hard to be objective with ourselves. We can look and we get too involved in the project, and we could keep going over it and see different things. Sometimes it helps to take a little photo of ourselves and even ask somebody else, what do you think looks better? And get some opinions that way, if you can't see it yourself, because I know it can be tricky to be objective. So there's the gold, feeling a little bit disconnected. It tends to bring out a yellow tone in my skin as well, making me look a little bit tired. Not ideal. After we've done all our hard work, taking our supplements and eating the right stuff, and then, we undo all of that by wearing the wrong colour. But a silver will lift my face, give me a nice defined jawline. Fine lines will appear to recede, and there feels like a much better connection between my skin and this drape here, the silver. Now, I would say that it's not one of my best colors. Okay, that's fine. I tend to work better with darker colors. No problem. I'll show you some of those later on as well. But these are the kind of things to be looking out for if you're going to be doing this at home and helping your skin shine on, as we say today. So other colors that you might look out for to do this cool versus warm test for yourself. If you have something in the wardrobe that has a bit of pink in it. So let's talk about pinks. This is a pink that has a little bit of blue in it. Okay, it's almost like a raspberry, I'd probably call it. Underneath, I'm going to show you this kind of more orangey color. Do you see the difference in those colors? Lots more blue in this raspberry. And this is much more on the warmer side, like an orange red. So hopefully you can see the difference when I move the drapes from cool to warm. And this is always tricky when I do it on myself. Okay. So you can hopefully see the difference that, again, I've got this kind of floating head syndrome, disconnected, skin not looking, I think, too bad right now. But as I said, I've got makeup on, which is helping. But if I didn't have makeup on, I know that this tends to make me look tired, sick, not great. And then I have to use makeup to work harder to make myself look alive and well. Whereas if I just get the right colors next to my face, which makes all the difference, everything just works a little bit better. So something to look out for at home that you can do for yourself. Okay, one is the jewelry, gold versus silver. The other is, do you have a raspberry color, some kind of pink in the wardrobe versus some kind of orange? Those colors will tend to show up pretty obviously whether they work or not. These are the go-to ones to look out for. I'll show you a couple more. Okay, here's another type of pink, which is also cool. Okay, you see the difference, how light we've gone here? Not my best color for sure, but it's the coolness that we're connecting with. The deeper colors absolutely working better for me. But wait till you see this next color, salmon. If you can't wear salmon, that's a sure sign that you're not warm. It's difficult to wear. Oh, I look like I need a good sleep and some vitamins and minerals, I think. It's a little bit sickly on me. This is definitely not something that I should be wearing. It will undo all the hard work that I've put into wearing the best colors near my face and all the good things I'm eating, all the hard work I'm doing. I can undo that in an instant by wearing the wrong color. Okay, not great. So I'm going to, I'll show you some colors that are in my best colors, let's say, just so you can see the difference that it can make for you. When we talk about wearing the best colors, by the way, we're usually talking about the colors that are closest to your face. If it's shoes or trousers or anything like that, not going to have the same impact on your skin. It is always good to work within the same color group because everything just works together. It's easy. Mix and match really easily. Takes the headache out of trying to match things in the wardrobe. That's why I say always work within your color palette. Here's one of my best colors. Okay, deep fuchsia. It's a dark color. It's on the cooler side. It's ticking all the boxes. So hopefully you agree with that. Another purple, which I don't think is coming across too well with the light on me here, but hopefully you can see that as well. Another deep color. You see the theme here, deep colors and cool colors. They are my best ones. We've got a petrol color here. Another great one. And by the way, do you see how I also choose my makeup in accordance with what colors suit me best? So when you're working with the colors that work for you best, it's not only about your clothes, it's also about your makeup choices. So I need to stick with cool colors in my lips as well I need to choose cool tone foundation, and everything ties together then. And of course, black is in my best colors. Black's a difficult one to wear if it's not one of your best colors. The opposite of that would be some colors that would not work well for me. We've got this light lime color. Not great compared to the last lot of colors that we saw. There's this salmon again. Wishy-washy, not great. Not doing great things for me. So you can see that, well, hopefully you can see that wearing the right colors can help your skin enormously. Always pay attention. If someone says to you, gosh, you're looking fantastic today, that's your color. Have you ever heard that? Has anybody ever said that to you? If so, pay attention to it. Why are they saying it? What is it about that color that's working so well? It could be the fact that it's a cool color or it's a warm color. That's one quality that you could look for. It could be that it's a light color versus a dark color. I need to go for those darker colors. They definitely work better for me. You can even see that today. I love this sparkly top, but I know it's not one of my, the best colors. If it was a pink or a black, even better. So these are some things that you can pay attention to. But the clues are there for you in your wardrobe. You need to pay attention to them, though. Always ask yourself, why? If something works for you, if you feel good in something, if you think your skin is looking amazing and the color that you're wearing is contributing to that, ask yourself why. And figure out the answer, because that's when we learn. If we just say, oh, yeah, that's a great color, brilliant, we haven't really learned anything. We don't know why it works. Also, if you say to yourself, oh gosh, no, I can't wear that color, it's terrible, why? That's when the learning happens. That's when you can apply the knowledge later on to avoid something or to move towards it again. So there's lots to be, lots of little tips there that you can help make your skin shine on, along with all the other tips that you've got today. I know there's plenty of questions coming in, so I want to leave a little bit of time for that as well. Let's see. Lee says that looks cool. That looks cool. Red looks fabulous.
I'll come on and read the questions for you.
Lovely. Yes.
It's always much easier than the speaker having to find.
Yes, that's right.
Box,
you can keep an eye on them.
I know. It was amazing when that cool red color went on. It's just extraordinary, the subtle difference in those tones. I wouldn't actually look and sort of think there was much difference. But then when you saw it against your skin, I was like, gosh, it's fascinating. Someone was saying here that they have cool undertones, but recently went copper with their hair. Okay. But recently went copper for my hair. Now thinking that's a no-no, that they went copper. So copper's quite warm, right?
It can be, yeah, it can be. So if you know for sure that you're a cool undertone or indeed warm undertoned, you want to always follow that with any changes that you make to yourself. So whether that's applying makeup, changing your hair color, wearing clothes next to your face, wearing jewelry next to your face. You always want to, if you're cool, keep the cool colors in your hair, keep it in your makeup. You might feel like the copper might look a little bit out of place, or that you're having to work harder to make it look well. Maybe you find like, okay, I've changed my hair color now I've got to I'll only look well when I put a lipstick on, or I put a bit of blush on, or I've got to work hard in order for me to make that work. Whereas if we tune into our natural temperature, it's much easier and we don't feel like we have to work so hard. So those of you who don't want to color their hair, don't want to wear a lot of makeup or any makeup, that's when wearing color can be really important, because the color can do the work for you.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because my hair's sort of lilac now, but I think if I put silver on my skin, it sometimes looks a bit jarring. So I think I don't know why. I know that when I wear dark navies and purples, it works really well. You know, whites don't work so well on me. I look washed out, you know.
Yeah. So that's down to your contrast levels as well, which is something we didn't get into. But
interesting.
There's many different things that have to align in order for us to get our best color. So silver does work for me, but I also need depth next to my skin to look my best.
See.
So you'll notice that when I did a darker color near my face, this is much better actually than the silver. I just like the silver though, but it's the coolness of this that works.
I see.
It's aligning all of these things, but that's another clue, Lee. The fact that you lean into purples and you lean into navy that you said as well.
Yes.
So these are all naturally cool colors.
Okay.
And you're also wearing a cool lipstick and you've got cool, so the cool colors are working for you.
Yes, because I think there's probably a lot of ladies on here who've either grown their hair out or have sort of the silvery tones. So it's interesting, isn't it, to work with that, with the contrast. Someone's saying, can the color of eyes make a difference? Because I love lime green, but I have blue eyes, to the colors that you wear.
Yeah. So there's a kind of a misconception out there that, if you have blue eyes, then you're cool, and you've got brown eyes, then you're warm. No, that's not the case at all. So we can have a little bit of, some people will notice that they might have blue eyes, but a little bit of amber in them as well. Or, depending on what they wear, it can bring out different colors in their eyes. I have brown eyes, but they are a cool brown. So I wear cooler colors. So the color of your eyes doesn't necessarily mean you are cool or warm. You can wear your lime green, but I would say tune into your undertone more than just one aspect, like your eyes.
Yes.
Because, the color of your eyes, it doesn't mean whether you're cool or warm.
Okay, really helpful.
There's patterns in the eyes and everything that we could get into, but
fascinating.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, where's your sparkly top from?
Oh, this I bought a couple of years ago or maybe more from Pinko.
Oh, did you? It's lovely. It's one of those sort of ones you have in your cupboard for years, isn't it? Whenever I've got something sparkly, then I'll have it in my cupboard for years. So we're just saying, I've switched from pinks to more peach as I've got older. Okay. Is there anything around switching? So again, it depends on the tone of the pink and peach, doesn't it? More than any contrast again.
Some of you, I know, at one point, the 80s and 90s, color analysis was a big thing, and a lot of people would have done it. And I know from speaking to some of the members, would have done it already. But as we go through life, our features change.
Yes.
Now, our cool versus warm doesn't change. As I said, that's going to be the consistent thing. Mm-hmm. But the other qualities that we have in our features and in colors does change. One of those things is value, which is how light or dark we can go with our colors. When my hair goes grey, I may not be able to get away with the depth of color that I can. Yes. And I have to adjust.
Yes.
Also, the other thing that we look at is chroma, how intense we can go with the color versus how soft we can go with the color. Again, when we lose the color in our hair, even the brightness in our skin or brightness in our eyes, we might have to adjust the brightness of the colors that we wear because they might start to overpower us, in which case we need to kind of tweak the dials a little bit in terms of what we're wearing. So if you got your colors done in the 80s or 90s, you might be thinking, gosh, that was great. The colors worked really well. But actually, I feel like they don't work so well now.
Yes.
Especially things like black. Okay. Yes. Black can get difficult to wear as we go through life, depending what season you're in. But that's one of the things. But you might feel like, there are warm pinks and there are cool pinks. Peaches tend to be warmer. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's been a big shift. I could give you an example of a warm pink, if I can get one quickly for you.
It's so true, Sarah, what you were saying, like when I used to dye my hair, it got to the point where I looked in the mirror and I thought, it just looks like a block on me now. It was too heavy against my skin. And what I have now is just much more delicate. against my skin now, and sort of suits me. It just looks fresher. It's funny, whereas 10, 20 years ago, it was great. I used to go really dark, like black hair, but it's just that contrast is too strong for me now. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it does mean a little bit of adjustment. But these are the things we need to pay attention to. If you feel like something has changed in your colors, ask why.
Yes, exactly.
Something doesn't work for you, ask why.
Yeah.
It's such a great question, simple question, but you can learn so much if you just sit with it, pay attention to it, learn from it, and then apply the knowledge.
Yes, totally.
Going into this is kind of, it is definitely moving into a more of a peachy salmon color, but that's kind of an example of a warmer side of it. Pink, you might argue it's pink, but and that's much more blue.
You can see the blue undertone in that, can't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, sometimes you do have to adjust your palette as we go through life. Not the case for everybody, but sometimes it can be the case.
So last question, I'm warm. However, as I got grey hair, now I can just about wear black without looking too drained. I can't wear oranges as much now. So that's what you're saying, isn't it? About the contrast, about the...
Yeah. So those of you who feel like they are warm, but they've, embraced the silver in the hair, we might lose a little bit of warmth, but you're not going to go cool. So when we talk about cool versus warm, it's not really one or the other. It's a spectrum. So some people can be really cool and really warm, in which case they need to go for those, on the warm side would be like lovely pumpkin oranges and those golden tones that we see in the leaves right now in autumn. Those are really obviously warm colors. Yeah. As you go through life and you maybe embrace the silver in your hair or gray, we might feel like, those warm yellow undertones are just not sitting quite right, and we might tone them down to a more neutral to warm space, not obviously warm. So again, it's adjusting that dial, but bear in mind, you're not going to go into the cool side. You might tone down the warmth and let another quality be the dominant feature. Yes.
Fantastic information. Wasn't that fabulous, everybody? I mean, I know a lot of you are regulars to Sarah's classes, are members there, but if you're new to Goldster today, I hope you found that session illuminating and interesting. Well, I certainly did, and I know many of you in the chat clearly do.